Okay, so here we go. These are your pointing slickers or pointing trowels, and they come all different sizes. They come anywhere from like 3/16 of a joint, 3/16 all the way up to like 1 inch. All right. So if you wanted to put something in here, obviously that's not the size. This brand that's right here, this is Marshalltown, and that's a decent trowel. They're not that expensive, and you'll wind up needing, the size is probably from 3/16 up to 1 inch. So if you go in all the increments, there's quite a bunch of tools. But then there's also one that we call the Rose Iron, and Marshalltown makes these also, but the Rose Iron is really the best made one. And these have two different sizes on them. Okay, so this you buy half as many of these, and I personally like these because you don't have to pick up too many different tools. Also, like this brick wall here, this is all flat work. It's all straight joints, and this type of tool fits in them nice. All right, but if you went on some decorative stonework or masonry where there might be curves or hard places to reach, you might have to modify your tool. Okay, so once you start doing stuff like that, this is actually a short one, compared to these. You can see the difference there, short. So once you start doing stuff like that and all different sizes, then you start running into some money to fill your bucket up there. So those, like I said, those are pointing tools. This one here, this is a margin trowel, and this is your basic one that you're gonna mix some mortar up in a little bucket. You point the mortar or patch your mortar and get it out of the bucket. This one obviously is dirty. Somebody forgot to clean it. Clean tool is a happy tool. Remember that. Okay. So yeah, that's that. Yeah, and we have all different. We have brick trowels, which we don't have. That's really not your basic one. Most of the stuff you do is repointing. This one here, this is a concave brick joiner. Okay, so when you lay in brick, one of the finishes is concave, and after they lay the brick and it's thumbprint hard, they would take this tool and they would make that finish and it would look concave. There's also convex ones, but you won't use them as much. So that's your pointing tools there. Then as far as like hammers would go, okay, hammers, there's all different type hammers. The ones that we use, this is your basic hammer, right? This is a claw hammer. So if you're putting nails in, if you want to break apart a piece of wood or take a nail out, this is your go-to hammer. Okay, that's your regular carpentry hammer. Then we also have, when we start taking the mortar joints out of the wall, we use this hammer a lot. This is called a lump hammer. Different parts of the country, they might call it a mash hammer. Some people might say, oh, that's a sledgehammer, but a sledgehammer is much bigger. They come different weights. This actually is, this one's about a 2-pound hammer. So this is your basic one that you would take a chisel. I can't do it because I have one hand. You would grab a chisel, like they showed you in the video for cutting and pointing, and you would hit it with that hammer. Okay, that's the hammer you'd hit it with. Bam, bam. Okay, so that's that. As far as chisels go, we work with all different types because we do more restoration work. So some of the joints are very thin, so we would actually use something like this to get the mortar out. There's another size. That's a flat 2-inch chisel. Something a little finer. That's a 1-inch chisel. This is also another chisel, but this one we use actually to break bricks in half. Okay, it's called a brick chisel. So the chisels, they come in all different sizes, shapes. We have the curved chisel, which is called the Cape chisel, and that's a very good one to get the mortar joints out with. So you have pointing tools, you have chisels, we have hammers. And back to the hammers for a second. So we just saw two. We saw the carpentry hammer, and we saw the lump hammer, right? There's also a brick hammer, all right? And this is the hammer that you'll see the bricklayers using. You'll see them snap a brick in half or take some of the meat off a brick, and we'll show you how to actually do that in a later video. Even these come in all different sizes. This size here, this might be more for when we break block, cement block. Okay, so there's that. And when we're resetting stones, you'll see this hammer a lot. Either you'll see the leather one, this head is made out of leather, or this type is like a dead blow hammer. It won't damage the stone. East Wing is probably the best hammer that we use. Okay. Another basic tool to have in your bucket would be a square. Okay, so if you're going to cut a piece of wood or a brick or something, you want to have a nice 90-degree line on it. You know, make nice straight lines. Okay, and we have that. Along with your pointing tools is your hawk. Okay, and you'll slap some mortar on this, which you're going to be doing plenty because you're going to actually cut this whole wall out, hammer and chisel, and then repoint it all right? So this, you're going to be holding this quite a bit. Another tool you're going to have in your bucket, and this is just a basic one, is a wrench, right? Adjustable wrench. Okay, a lot of times we have you know, pipes and stuff like that from the scaffolding that we'll have to take apart or assemble, clamps for the hanging scaffold. So that's a basic one. A ratchet is always a great one. It's a lot quicker to use, a lot easier. So that's that. Another trowel you'll probably have would be just a small steel trowel. Okay, you know, it's good to scrape off mortar. If you're doing any type of flat work or patching, it's a great tool to have in your bucket. Okay. Another tool you would have would be a level, okay? Because if you're putting bricks in, you'd want to have them nice and plumb and level. Okay, so this would be level, and this would be plumb. Okay, level. So level is horizontal, and plumb is a vertical. Got it? Got it. That might be on a test. All right, along with that, we also do caulking. So, almost like the pointing tools, you have what we call caulking slickers, okay? And they're usually rounded at the edge. That's what most of the joints that we do are concave joints. And again, they come all different sizes. Different companies make them different ways. This is not a bad one, Abion, okay? And these probably go for about $4 or $5 each. And again, various sizes, like, you know, the smallest one up to an inch. Along with that, you would have a caulking gun. This is your basic caulking gun. This is for a tube. And what I mean by tube, let me grab one, I'll show you. Because I take everything for granted. So this is a tube of caulking. And what you would do with that would be take it, okay, and it would